SMT Nation, we back. Nation, I want to discuss this topic here with you all today with the fresh off the heels of the outage for AT&T customers who are struggling with network connectivity. There was some early indications that all carriers were impacted by some sort of a network trouble that was going on in the early AM of February 22nd. And just to kind of offer some clarity, transparency, we got some information from the carriers directly. We know AT&T was impacted. We know that customers were impacted at scale, but there was rumblings of it possibly being all three carriers, Verizon and T-Mobile included, and that just wasn't the case. We got indications, specific language from those carriers saying that their networks were completely operational. Let me tell you guys about their disclosures, what happened, and their explanations of what was going on. All right, so to kind of address the elephant in the room, AT&T was the one impacted. But if you were a Verizon customer or a T-Mobile customer and you were trying to reach out to customers of AT&T that utilize their network, obviously you weren't able to get through if their calling and texting wasn't working. So that being the case, it may have seemed like possibly there was an issue for the Verizon and the T-Mobile customer. But if the Verizon or T-Mobile customer was calling someone that was on Verizon or T-Mobile, it was working. So the outage was indeed not impacting all major carriers. The temporary spikes that we saw on the Down Detector website were caused because of the inability to contact and reach AT&T customers. So the impacts needed some clarifications. All right, so Verizon, a spokeswoman told, it looks like Fierce was reporting on this, Verizon's network is operating normally. Some customers experienced issues this morning when calling or texting with customers served by another carrier. We continue to monitor the situation. And then from T-Mobile, the quote, "We did not experience an outage. Our network is operating normally. Any problems are likely reflecting challenges our customers were having attempting to connect to users on other networks." So they basically said the same thing that the Verizon spokesperson said as well. So to kind of put a bow on this and kind of move on from the whole event, Verizon never went down. T-Mobile never went down. The indications from Down Detector that those networks were impacted were simply because the AT&T customers were unable to be reached by anyone from any network. That seems to be the case. So we just wanted to offer clarity. It wasn't the fact that we were trying to misreport here on my channel, or it wasn't Fierce trying to misreport. They can only go off of the information they have. So if you were using Down Detector as an indication of outages, you would think that Verizon and T-Mobile also were having network problems, when indeed they were not. It was specifically tied to AT&T. Anyways, very happy that this is all done and over and we can move on with our lives. Just to offer that clarity, you weren't losing your mind or going crazy. It was a pretty big outage, and it had some pretty, broad-reaching implications. But hopefully for a bounce back, and the companies are more resilient for it, and it becomes kind of a case study and experience for them to improve upon. Right, it's taking steps forward to prevent these things from happening in the near future. All right, what do you guys think about all this? Were you impacted in any way? Did it create concerns or worries? Does it impact, what carrier you think about using in the future? I would consider this as a one-off. It's not very typical for AT&T to have outages, right? All carriers have them, but it's unusual for them to have them that last this long and impact this many folks. But what do you guys think about all this? Sound off in the comments section below. You are the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.